I hope you're doing well. This is too early in the morning for me, Sam. It's normally you with Johnny who do this every year, but I've been roped into it this year, so if my voice sounds a bit groggy, that's because I've only been awake half an hour. But I'm joined by Sam. How are you this morning?
I've been up for at least 2 hours. I don't know what the fuss is about.
Well, this is normal for you though. You're not up until like 2, 3 in the
I've
morning.
already been in. I'm just got home from the school run, so yeah, it's. I mean, it's more or less midday for me compared to you.
You're fresh as a daisy.
I won't go that far.
Aye, it takes you a while to wake up at night. It's Premier League release day for the fixtures, which is something that we all look forward to in June because, let's face it, not much happens in the world of football except from your usual transfer speculation, which is, if you're all sick of it by now, I don't blame you. And there's been a couple of leaks already this morning. It officially gets announced in about just under 10 minutes time. And so, yeah, we'll have to see. Sam, you've put it out on Twitter. What is this leak?
So, if rumours are to be believed, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say I believe this one. We've got a fairly tricky start to the season, but we are at home first game of the season on the opening weekend against Aston Villa. Then we've got a trip to the Champions at the Etihad, and then we've got Liverpool at home. So that is a very, very tough start. All playing European teams in European competition.
Did you just say Etihad?
No, that's not. That doesn't sound like something I would do.
Yeah, if that is to be true, that is tough because Villa were flying under Emery second half of the season, and then obviously the two big sides, Liverpool and Manchester City. So you can't really ask for a tougher start, but you've got to play all the teams at some point. So at some point, Newcastle will then have an easy run. We will dissect the fixtures. We'll take a look where it falls in line with the Champions League fixtures as well, because I'm going to put that on screen a little bit later. That's in mid-September. And then we'll have a look at the Christmas period, which is always tends to be a lot of games. You normally get 7 or 8.
Well, I've heard rumours about that Christmas period as well. Do you want me to share? I mean,
Yeah.
This one isn't as strong as the opening 3 fixtures, but apparently we've got Forest. I'm not sure, but I think it's at home on Boxing Day, and then we've got Liverpool away on the 30th of December. I'm not sure about them ones though.
Okay. And then it is rumoured, I think it's Brentford away.
Last game of the season, yeah.
Yeah, in the sunshine once again. We're seeing that in April, where it was
May.
Was it May? Was it May we played Brentford away?
Oh, I don't know. We had a lot of games in May. It might have been April, actually. Gosh. I don't know. There was a lot of games towards the end of the season, all in quick succession. And remember as well, like it was like the end of May, where it was the end of season. I don't know. It was probably April. You're right. You were there. I wasn't.
And in the Champions League's only just, the Champions League final has only just finished the past week. And we're already talking about next season. So we're going to have to try and start now, getting in that mind frame where no longer we're saying this season, because we're going to have to start saying last season, because now the fixtures are out. We'll have to try and take a few days to switch that around. But when you look at the fixtures then, Sam, what's the first thing you are excited about? What do you look for?
I don't look for anything specific. Like basically the ones we've covered, who we got first, who we got last. I used to look at who we got last because I'd always think, oh bloody hell, we've got to win last day of the season to stay up. So that's what I used to look at. Just the key areas like the Christmas period's always pretty heavy duty, isn't it? So there's that, and I know me and you both look for when we're playing Villa, so we don't have to look very hard for that one if it's to be believed that we've got them at home. And I'm on holiday in Devon with my in-laws, who are pretty much all Villa as well. So that's going to be an interesting day and holiday as well. So, yeah, it's going to be tasty.
It is tasty. Well, I look for Sunderland, but it's been a while.
Yeah, you can't look for them.
Their fixture list comes out, I think it's next week. So Sunderland can look forward to another season behind us.
Enjoy Plymouth away.
Yeah. That's a naughty travel. That's that. Talk about miles. That is some miles. Worse than Bournemouth by quite a lot. But Yes, Sunderland have been out of the Premier League for 7 years. There's a couple of interesting ones. Luton away is going to be interesting for not just Newcastle fans, for every Premier League fan who visits there. I think tickets will be quite difficult to get for that one. I think the allocation is probably only going to be, 1,000 if we're lucky, maybe 1,500.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any time towards the start of the season, though, is it? Because they've got some stadium upgrades to do before they can play in the Premier League at home, if I'm right in saying that.
Yeah, you can just pop in for one of them houses and have a cuppa, can't you?
Yeah.
Literally. So there's interesting one. I look forward to, as I say, if Sunderland were there, but they've been out the top league for 7 years. And then you'll probably look at, because Newcastle's rivals, so to speak, now, you would think Newcastle should be competing for a top 7 place next season. It's going to be an extra strain with the Champions League fixtures chucked in. We don't have any League Cup second round fixtures this year, so we get a bye. I think that's normally late August, so we won't play in that, thankfully. So I look forward to the opening game, first away game. Who is it? Where is it? Because then I've got to start putting my holidays in. The fixtures that do come out are not set in stone. They are going to change by give or take a day or two, because the likes of TNT Sport, I have to say that, Sky Sports and Amazon will want to get their hands on certain games. And of course, Europa League as well. Teams that are in Europa League, we're playing them, will push to Sunday. So, yeah, and there might be a fixture cancellation, like we had one last season for ages, where we had that extra game in hand. So it's not always set in stone. They're just provisional. We'll call it provisional on that. So I look forward to the first home game, first away game. And then Christmas is really, really busy. That's why we're seeing to cram in 7 or 8 games. So it's going to be difficult if we've got an away Champions League fixture and then an away league game. That's going to be a lot of strain, a lot of financial strain on not just myself, but everybody. Because it's a lot of money.
Well, when is the last Champions League game before of the group stage?
Well, I'll put it on screen for everybody at home. So, match day 1 in the Champions League is on the 19th and 20th of September. The last one, match day 6, is the 12th or 13th of December. So, again, we could have an extra. Well, we are having an extra game, aren't we, in December and top the league fixtures? So,
yeah. I mean, we are less than a minute away now from confirming these Premier League fixtures.
It is, and then of course we'll wait for the Premier League to announce them. But yeah, we're going to have to cram in. So we'll see who we get. We'll jump back to this screen a little bit later to see, because if we do have a run of tough fixtures, we are going to get some big boys in the Champions League as well. And then of course the knockout stages will begin early February or mid-February, 13, 14.
Yeah.
But even if we're not in that competition, we could be in the Europa League, so it could be the 15, 16. So we'll come back to this a little bit later. And the finals on the 1st of June, which we can dream about, can't we? But it is 9 o'clock in the morning. Shall we have a little look and see? Well, if they've been released. Do you want to tell me if they've been released, and I'll just screen share in case?
No, you look.
I'll have a look then, since I'm not logged in. We'll go on to Twitter, everybody. Play along as well. We want to know what is well they're out. It is confirmed that it is Aston Villa at home, Manchester City away, and Liverpool at home. So yeah, spot on. Our WhatsApp's going to start pinging, so I'll stop that. I'm going to share the screen, everybody. So if you can't see it, we'll put it on screen for you. So let me do that for you, so you can see this at home. So here we go. Well, that's not very big, is it, Lee? That's not very big. Let's make that, put that in the middle, and we'll try and make that full screen. Ooh. There we go.
Other games. Do you want me to go through the full opening fixtures?
Yeah, it's on screen now for everybody, so yeah, please.
Oh, okay. So we've got Burnley versus Manchester City, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth versus West Ham, Brighton versus Luton, Everton versus Fulham, Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace, Newcastle versus Aston Villa will be on Sky Sports. It could be the evening kickoff on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Sky Sports News are just showing that now, and there's a Sky Sports logo. So Newcastle Villa will be on UK TV for the opening game of the season. Manchester United versus Wolves, Chelsea versus Liverpool, Brentford versus Tottenham, I believe, rounds off the opening weekend fixtures.
So if we look at that then, so we were talking about it, we were given a little bit of a heads up, what was it, 25 minutes or so ago, that the opening three fixtures were, and then it's a tough one, but you can't really ask anything harder than that, Sam, but you've got to test yourself against the best. But if you look at those opening three fixtures, what you're hoping for, 4 points?
Yeah, I mean, I can confirm now that it is the tea time Saturday game, Newcastle versus Villa. So it's Saturday 5:30 p.m. kickoff. I don't know whether it tells you that on the graphic, but in case it doesn't, there you go. So yeah, we've got a tea time kickoff opening weekend of the season, Saturday 5:30. We've got a very tough game because after Liverpool at home, we've got Brighton away. So the first four fixtures are incredibly difficult, and then we've got a couple more winnable games, haven't we? But really, really, really tough start to the season. But yeah, like you say, you've got to play them all twice. But it's a tough start.
Let's have a look to see what people are saying. First home game against Villa. We'll need to start off strongly, says Darren. I do agree for that. Jordy for Toon Life, up early. Thank you very much. Brighton is the fourth game. Such an easy start. Laughing face. So he's taking the mickey a little bit. Villa at home, says Simon as well. Our game is live. Yep, Sam's just confirmed that. And Jordy Toon for Life has mentioned away travel. With Burnley and Sheffield United in the Premier League, it'll be a little bit regarding your away, regarding the away days, Lee. Yes, that is true.
Yeah, you were praying for Bournemouth to go down, weren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, no. But I got Southampton to go down. So at least, because we went there twice last season, so we don't have to get an all the way down to Southampton, which is almost just as bad. But yeah,
me and Harry had a mare getting home after the cup game at Southampton. Jesus, yeah, won't miss that away day for sure.
Yeah, and then if we I'm buzzing with that. So Burnley and Sheffield United can get home in 2 hours, but we lost the Northern team as well, so it's one of them. And Luton isn't bad to get to. It's long distance, but it's just one road.
Yeah.
So for us, it's just literally it's a bit like Watford, straight down the A1/M1, and then you're there. So you don't have to really do much weaving, jumping on another train, so you can get straight down there. But those fixtures then. So we'll take a look at, as I say, the Champions League fixtures, because the very first one, I'll put it on screen for everybody, is match day 1 is on the 19th and 20th. And then if I take a look who we've got around about that day, that's squeezed in between. I think that's great. That's squeezed in between Brentford and Sheffield United. Sheffield United game is away. So Brentford at home, then a Champions League game, and then Sheffield United. That's great, isn't it? Surely,
it's better, yeah. But again, it makes it all them fixtures that comes off the back of 4 very difficult opening fixtures. But yeah, they're compacted in there nicely, and that's going to be a real test of how Eddie Howe balances his squad.
The Champions League draw comes out on deadline day, so we will be very busy that day.
That's not inconvenient at all, is it?
Yeah, well, we'll see who comes out, see who we get, because we're all going to be eagerly anticipating for that. And then the second one, put it back on screen, is on the 3rd and 4th of October, match day 2. So again, if we take a look who we've got in October in between there, so that's sandwiched between Liverpool away. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's squeezed between Burnley at home at the end of September, and then West Ham away on the 7th. So that Champions League game, the second one's going to be squeezed in there. So already coming off the first or second game, we've got an away game, 2 in a row. So depending on who we get in the Champions League, whether it's a home fixture or away fixture, if it's a away one, especially that second one, if it's away and away, I don't think I'm going home because it's a London game. Group stage 3, match day 3 is on the 24th and 25th of October. So again, if we take a look at the graphic, who got squeezed in between there, that's Crystal Palace at home and Wolves away for that one.
Mm.
So yeah, That's not too bad. It's not too bad on that one. And then if we take a look back at the Champions League fixture, once again, match day 4 is the 7th or 8th of November, Tuesday or the Wednesday. And then again, if you look at the graphic once again, who we got there, that is squeezed in between Bournemouth home, Bournemouth away. I pray that is the Champions League.
Bournemouth at home and Bournemouth away?
Arsenal at home, sorry. It's first thing in the morning, man, Sam. Arsenal at home, Bournemouth away, sandwiched in between there. Now, I hope that Champions League fixture is a home game.
Tricky.
Because, and it's also key as well, Sam, that you've got to remember, because of all these fixtures, Eddie Howe's not going to be on the training pitch as much. He's going to be doing more travelling.
Yeah, it's going to be a big test. Transfer window's now open and we've been linked with a few exciting names already, but we need to get fresh faces through the door because it's going to be a massive strain on the squad next season. It really is, and like we were down to the bare bones at the back end of last season, particularly in midfield, and that's a particular area where high energy, high octane, particularly how we play. So we definitely need at least one reinforcement.
Yeah, and obviously we've been heavily linked to Nicola Barella, which Carl did the video on. We'll see how that develops because Romano saying the bid hasn't gone in, so we'll see about that. But the next one, Chelsea at home, which you would think Chelsea would be a lot more stronger, then a Champions League game, and then Manchester United at home.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the gods are not being very kind there, but again, this is the Premier League. This is why we're competing at the top. This is, because teams will look at us and think, I don't want to play Newcastle. So it'll be the same as well. So that's match day number 5. And the last one, which December is, we'll take a look properly at the December fixtures because you've got tons there. If I just put that back on screen, actually, December, you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Premier League games. Plus Champions League games. So you've got 8 games there. That is a lot of strain. There's going to be a lot of rotation going on there. So Newcastle might need a result in this match day 6. They could be already qualified. We'll have to see on that. But that's on the 12th and 13th of December for the group stage 6, which will then tie in between Spurs away and Fulham at home. So at least it's a home fixture afterwards as well.
Could I just double check because I can't see the graphic on screen very well? Yeah. What were the rumours that we said before true about Christmas time, Boxing Day? Is that Forest?
Yep, spot on, and it's a home fixture for a change.
Yeah, and then Liverpool away on the 30th, is it?
Yeah, spot on. So I'll run through December because that's really, really tough, and then. It goes to a game a week after that because then you'll have the FA Cup because in December we've got Manchester United, which is home, and then you've got 3 days later Everton away, 4 days later Spurs, and then you've got a week later Fulham, and then you've got a week later Luton away, Forest Boxing Day at home. I might actually get to see my family on Christmas time for change.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Always seem to be one of the Manchester clubs away all the time. Or Leicester. We got Leicester last year.
Yeah.
And Liverpool away on the 30th. I'm pleased that's not on New Year's Eve. So that's on the 30th. So that's okay. And then into the new year where you'll have the FA Cup draw somewhere. I would imagine that off the top of my head, that'll be somewhere like the 4th, 5th, 6th. And then Manchester City at home. And then a good 2-week gap. So with Aston Villa on the 30th. Now, these can change, as me and Sam have already said, because of TV fixtures. One has already been changed. Newcastle were on TV probably one of the most, if I can remember, if not ever, because it seems like 80% of the games last season were on TV.
Yeah.
February, which would normally, it seems a bit strange. February, you normally only get 2 or 3 games. We've actually got 4 in February. So we'll have Luton at home, Forest away, Bournemouth home, Arsenal away. So there is some favourable fixtures, in particular the first 3 there.
And like you said as well there, Lee, we could have Europa League, we could have Champions League in February as well. So that could be a very busy month. Yeah,
so you look further down, back on the graphic then. So when did the knockout stages start for the Champions League? So round 16, if we make it through, is on the 13th, 14th. And then if we're not Europa League, we'll be a couple of days later. So
Yeah.
again, and that could be depending on where Newcastle are, which competition they're in.
And then of course you've got the Carabao Cup final to throw in there as well. So it's going to be very busy February.
Let's just hope we turn up this time, And
yeah.
quarterfinals are in April for the Champions League. Again, a couple of days later for Europa League, so April. So look, it's a lot of fixtures and there's a lot of places up for grabs. If we go back into to the running, what you would call it, March, you've got Wolves at home, Chelsea away, Palace away, and West Ham home. So you've got a lot of London clubs home and away there. April, Easter time, there's always a lot of games crammed in. So this is where Newcastle, you would hope, are fighting for one of the European places again. Beginning of April, you've got Everton home, and then 3 days later, Fulham. So there's your bank holiday weekend, Fulham away. And then we've got Spurs at home, Man United away, Sheffield United home. So there's the April. And then we round up the end of the season with Burnley away, Brighton home, Brentford away. I don't think that's a bad run in the last 3 games. Burnley away, Brighton at home, and Brentford away. Yes, they're tricky in the Premier League's tricky, but we don't have any of the... Even Sheffield United before that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, obviously every game's tricky and anyone can beat anyone in the Premier League. That's why it's so great. But yeah, it's a pretty favourable way to round off the season. So hopefully, we can make up some points there because we've got some very tricky patches, haven't we?
Wahab, is there any fixture in particular or any ground that you didn't go to last season that you'd like to and think, I want to go to that ground?
I wouldn't mind having a look at Spurs, obviously because that's new. But to be honest, I'm not normally a fan of new grounds.
You like the ones, didn't you?
Yes, I do. So I like last season, for example. I really enjoyed Forest and Everton.
Yeah, it was bouncing that Friday night in Forest, wasn't it?
It was. We had a great time, didn't we?
Yeah, it was eventful outside film, and a lot was happening.
yeah. So those were probably my 2 favourite away days last season: Forest and Everton. The ones like Southampton and Leicester and whatnot, them grounds are all a bit samey, and West Ham's just not a football stadium. It's an arena with no roof on at best. Yeah, Spurs I wouldn't mind having a look at. Where else?
Sheffield United's a good ground because where the put you is literally directly behind the goal.
Old school ground as well, yeah.
So where Anfield, where the put you, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, so that's probably right up my street, isn't it? I've not done Sheffield United away before, so yeah, that would probably be a good one. So
I look forward to that one. Burnley away, Burnley away is horrible when you're actually there because it's great, it's wet, it always seems to rain, and then they have a tent for you for the away fans. It's so bizarre. They've got one toilet in the concourse, which is just shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Then it's always overcrowded. There was an incident obviously last time there with the overcrowdedness, and it's just a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare, Burnley away. But at least
there's a couple of old school grounds which aren't really fit for purpose, isn't there? Burnley would fall into that category, as would Crystal Palace. But yeah, that's it's one of the. When's Wolves away? My local away day, where I'll be home in time for tea. That's always one I sort of look out for, just because it's 40 minutes from me.
Yeah, I'll put it back on screen. So Wolves away. So the home one's in March, and the Wolves away is in late October, the 28th. Sorry.
Lovely.
That's away. So that's when all the clocks change and the cold weather comes in. Lovely. But yeah, and obviously you've got a lot of the women's fixtures around your neck of the woods as well. So
can't wait for that. Can't wait to get to so many away days. I know. That's something I'm really, really looking forward to. I can't wait for the women's fixtures to come out, and I can get to quite a few local away days to me. Really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so put the kettle on. We might be down your neck of the woods a few times.
Absolutely. Welcome anytime, so long as you call ahead.
That's fine. I'm like that. I don't like people just knocking at my door randomly, putting me off. And if you look at
putting you off, what?
Just you might not be ready. You might not be Adam now. You might not be house proud. You might have you'll have kids and toys all over the place, and Yeah, I know what you mean. For the neutrals that are watching, who aren't obviously Newcastle fans, who I'm going to ask you a couple of questions as well. Who is your team most likely? Well, who's going to be the surprise element this season? If you had to pick a team,
who could surprise a few?
do you reckon Luton could be one of those?
No.
Or are they like certain to finish rock bottom?
You never know, do you? You never know. Depends how they invest. I can't imagine them doing too much. I would be amazed if they did stay up. But, you know, it wouldn't be unheard of. In terms of surprising, who had a bit of a flimsy I mean, Chelsea would be the obvious ones, but I think that'll take time to fix.
Can't be any worse. They've got no European football. The thing is with this as well, Spurs and Chelsea don't have any European football.
Yeah, but they're
It will help them. It will help them.
It will help them, of course it will, but they've got some serious issues to fix, particularly Chelsea. Spurs, you don't know what's going to happen with Harry Kane and whatnot. Who could surprise a few? Let's see how West Ham invest the Declan Rice money, which they will inevitably receive. Wasn't long ago like they were challenging for the big European places where they won the Conference League. So maybe West Ham. Other than that, you got to be wary of Villa and how they finished off last season.
Be interested to see how Palace recruit, because Palace do have some good attacking options, but you never know. In terms of the teams that overperform, like ourselves, let's kid ourselves, we shouldn't really be sitting in a Champions League place. Brighton and Villa. Do you expect the other teams to be in amongst, battling against your greedy six, so to speak, or is that just a one-off? Because Brighton are losing some key players.
Yeah, you never know with Brighton because they do recruit so well. Whether they'll have more hits than misses now. Dan Ashworth's left and come with us. It remains to be seen. It's a difficult balancing act. I don't know. I'd prefer the Brighton away game to be further down the line, to be honest. It's a horrible place to go, and we always seem to get them at the start of the season, don't we?
I'd rather go in the summer than the winter, mind.
I suppose for ease of travel. Yeah. It'd be a difficult balancing act, but I think Emery, they'll have a good run in the Europa League. Whether that'll detract from their league form, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of teams sort of on the cusp, and we're obviously one of them. I think we just need to consolidate European football this season, and that would be a success in my eyes.
We'll come back to that later. I'm going to read some comments out. Steve's donated $4.99 to his own channel, so thank you very much.
Why?
Steve.
Just backs me the cash.
Yeah, but he has been in membership, which ties in nicely for 25 months. So that's a long time, Steve. So thank you for that. We've been ploughing the members' videos out the past week. There's about 4 or 5 videos out for our members. It's only 99 pence. There's a join button underneath you if you want to have a little spy. Pay 99 pence, leave if you want to. Have a look at it. It's good fun. You'll also have access to our Discord, and I can tell you that we are starting a WhatsApp group up very, very shortly for our members. So stay tuned for that, which will be good fun. We'll go through some of what you're saying in the comments, and we'll read some of them out and maybe debate one or two as well. Sheffield United is at St James Park as perfect final day fixture. Yeah, they could be relegated. They might have something to play for. I think the end of the season, as me and Sam have talked about, is very, very favourable. Luton Airport says Marriage. You could literally fly down the squad. Yeah. The squad will fly down there, Luton Parkway. Me and Sam have parked there a couple of times. I've done that trick where you park at Luton, just get the train in from there if it gets too busy. JJ says good to get City early on. Notoriously slow starters. I think he means us, doesn't he?
No. City didn't rocket in their start last season, did they? But our record at City was disastrous before they got taken over with their billions. So
Simon says the international breaks that you need to factor in these fixtures, etc. Yeah, I think that's where the two week gaps are coming in there. So yes, so I agree with you on that. That's a welcome boost. But again, Newcastle will have probably a lot of these going out now, especially with like Botman now in international. Well, he didn't get off the bench actually. Netherlands got battered 4 against him. He didn't even play. So start him. Mr. Banyard, one of our own, is in the comments.
Oh, son.
All right, son, that's going. You know what? Yes, lads. Say that in his accent.
Yes, lads, we're winning the lot.
Yeah, come on.
Oi.
He's got to hate me for that. He's got to be WhatsApp me right now. James says slightly less mileage away this year. Lee will be happy. Do I twist that much? Is that like?
Yeah, you do.
I do twist a lot, don't I? Driving.
Yes. And that's just on the videos. Imagine what he's like in the WhatsApp group afterwards.
I don't want to always say, "Oh, I hope such and such coming from the championship." Oh, I hope such and such guys doing just for the travel alone. Luton away just before Boxing Day. So that's when the cold weather comes in. That'd be interesting. That is
like you say though, Luton away is not a disastrous one to get to, is it? All things considered,
it's just the stadium. It's just going to be.
Would have preferred Cov. We would have preferred. Coventry.
Oh yeah, because we've got what 32 to 40,000. Yeah. That's just because it's next to you again. Lads, if we get a good start, the last 10 games are all winnable. Oh, confidence. Hang a minute. Let's just calm down a little bit. Tendon item, title push. I don't think we're just there.
Well, if you think about it, the improvement we've had over the past 2 seasons, we'd then need to have that improvement again to mount a title challenge. That's the amount of points we're looking at. We finished on 71 this season just gone, and we'd have to add another 20 points onto that.
So, someone's been very noticeable. Someone paid in your pocket. No, I've spilt water. I've got water here, so I've spilt water on the desk. So there you go. Sean goes on to say we might need to take some deck chairs down to Luton, lads. Not sure if they've got enough seats. They're going to be the running story, I think.
You don't sit down on an away day anyway.
No, you cannot say it. But you might be able to see from the rise of block of flats. You can just look down, be like purely better allow again.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are confident on that. Luton will survive, says Steve. He's been championing Luton in the WhatsApp, in our WhatsApp, you know. Yeah, you want Luton to do well. Villa shrugged their shoulders. It's one of them, isn't it? It is one of them. We're going to have to play Unai Emery. I think Villa could be, like we're talking about, it could be a team to watch. They could even be closer this year, depending how they recruit. Brentford could struggle. They've just signed, obviously with Ivan Toney, not available until January. They've made the Kevin Schade deal permanent the last couple of days.
They tried to sign Brennan Johnson as well, didn't they, Brentford?
Yeah. Do you watch any of the Le Mans? No, just Formula One. That's it, mate. 24 hours straight racing. I cannot. Nah, that's probably a job for Steve. Just became a member. Thank you very much, Stud Love. Link is in the description underneath, and unlock that. I'll send the Discord link out later on today as well. Attendant item says the first 4 games are all against European teams before the September international break. If we have a good start in those, we can then build upon the favourable fixtures after. It's also important as well, Sam, that we might not get off to a good start. We could be hovering, on the bottom 10, bottom 6, because it's a tough run of fixtures. But is it a case of, look, let's just be patient, look how far we've come. Don't get on the high horse if we've started off poorly. Yeah,
don't panic. It would be the message. I don't want to see people turn on Eddie Howe, which... it's a possibility that could happen this season, which wouldn't be deserved. But there's a lot happening at Newcastle very, very quickly. So just enjoy the ride like we have been doing.
Inside joke. Sam, how was Johnny's sister? That's a reference.
Johnny hasn't even watched that video yet.
That's for the members.
That's just for the members.
Just for the members, for that as well. So let's go up to right up until wait, had a minute, Steve. We should push for the title. What's yet to lose? My goal is to win a trophy of some sort. I think
that's it. Play the kids in the Champions League. Sack it off.
Just do that, yeah.
It's only been 20 years. Sack off the Champions League. Just go for the league title.
Say, James, I didn't even know Ferrari won the Le Mans. I wouldn't have a Scooby-Doo. Like I say, it's just literally just Formula 1 for myself, pal, which is on this weekend. Sam's not interested in the F1.
Not anymore. I used to be when I was younger, but now
it is getting
so
a bit
dull.
It is now because it's just Red Bull, and it's just becoming.
Yeah, and before that it was Mercedes, and then before that it was Red Bull. Boring now.
It is a bit of a mix-up, but we are going to wrap up, I think, because we've been live for just over half an hour, and that, and the fixtures are out. You'll see them all over social media. People will be talking about it. It'll be trending. Clubs up and down the land for the Premier League. When obviously we've got Champions League football to look forward to as well. So that'll be a big one the end of August to see who we get. I want the group. Just on that, before we wrap up, I want the group of death. I want the group of death. Bring it on. Bring it on, because what's the worst you can finish as the fourth? You know what I mean? We could even get third. We could get third and go into Europa League. With that, we'll go back in the Champions League.
Yeah, there's a few teams I'd like to play. Real Madrid would obviously be a great experience. I'd like AC Milan. Dortmund would be a very, very good away day. But yeah, we'll see at the end of next month, won't we?
We will. I don't want to go to Barcelona because they're not in the Camp Nou. I've been there, but they're in the Olympic Stadium up the hill, which is just an open little stadium. It's not great. It's not a great stadium, but yeah. Paris, I'm just. Some parts of Paris is lovely, some parts is rough, but you get that anywhere you go. But yeah, we'll see who we get for that as well. Anything coming up, Mr. Mulliner?
Yes.
Do you want to say, or shall I just leave that?
We'll just leave it because I'm recording it. We're recording Agreeing with a Mulliner show in 30 minutes' time.
Members,
put it that way.
You will know. Don't put it in the comments, please. But yes, that is it, everybody. That's from me and Sam. If you can help us out by dropping us a like, I hope you've been enjoying all of our daily content. This is just an added one. I think it's back. Is it back to you today, Sam?
I don't know. I've got a very busy day, so we shall see. Yeah,
I think it's back to you, where we're doing quick 5-minute updates. We'll probably give you a Barella update later. I'll say what's going on with him. But yeah, that's it. And then obviously 30 days time until we play Gateshead away. I'm counting down the days. It's not very far from me. I'm going to literally just a 5-minute drive for me, and I'm there. So happy days. But yeah, have a great morning, everybody, and enjoy your rest of your day. From me and Sam, take care. Ta-da. Bye-bye.